this book, which we have actually gotten everyone a copy of this book. It's out there, so you'll be able to get a copy of this book. It is called The Devil Never Sleeps. I am now going to introduce Juliette Kayyem, in academia, Professor Kayyem actually, in academia, private sector, government, and media. Professor Kayyem is an international leader in crisis management and homeland security. Kayyem serves as the faculty chair of the Homeland Security and Global Health Projects at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. Previously, she has served as President Obama's Assistant Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security and as an MA and as Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick's Homeland Security Advisor. She is also the CEO of Grip Mobility, a technology security company in the mobility space, a CNN national security analyst, Pulitzer Prize finalist, and contributor to the Atlantic and Boston's local NPR station. GBH, Juliette also advises, I'm just going to call Juliette because Kayyem apparently is coming out hard today, advises governors, mayors, and corporations on crisis management. Juliette is the author and editor of 6 books, including her most recent, The Devil Never Sleeps, Learning to Live in the Age of Disasters. Juliette lives in Cambridge, Massachusetts with her husband, Judge David Barron, and has 3 children. Please welcome Professor Juliette Kayyem.
Thank you, Tom. We are a simple people. I don't know how familiar this is to you, but this is how we divide up our resources, our planning, and our structure. So think if you're, and it's left and right of boom. That's it. We're simple people, 2 phases of life, right? Left of boom are the prevention and the protection efforts that you utilize to protect your systems, right? So think of the cyber protections and the physical security and all the things that you're doing to stop the devil from coming. And good luck, because I do wish you luck. But then the boom happens. And notice that the boom, so this is left and right of boom, I'm agnostic on it. I came up through counterterrorism. I was a counterterrorism attorney at the Department of Justice from 1995 to 2000. That obviously changed after 2001 as we stopped thinking about terrorism as solely a law enforcement issue. I had a course correction towards, as many people in my field did, in 2005. When Hurricane Katrina came and killed 2,000 Americans, not because of the hurricane, but because of the aftermath, right? I mean, it is very few people died in the moments. Hurricane Katrina was just a Category 3 when it hit New Orleans. And many people in my field began to think, wow, we've spent a lot of time and money stopping 19 guys from getting on 4 airplanes, and we've done well. But this is a society, we're a society, you help build a society and protect a society in which things move and people need to move. And if we don't start to think about our right of boom capabilities, response, recovery, and resiliency in a more sophisticated manner, we will have more misery than we should. And that is sort of where we are now. So the challenge, of course, is making sure that or being cognizant of what in my space, and hopefully understanding my space will help you with your space, what's called the preparedness paradox. Those of you who are involved with budgets or need to justify things are often confronted with this. Well, guess what? It has a name. It is that the more you invest in protecting your systems, the more resilient they are to things, the more the people who are approving your budget will say, why the heck are you spending so much on this? Right? Because they're not seeing the benefits of being prepared for whatever the boom is. The preparedness paradox comes out of public health, but actually became most famous during Y2K. Many of you will remember lots of worries in 1998, 1999, because the computers at the year 2000 might switch to 0000. And for 2 years, we worried about it. Planes were going to fall out of the skies, banking systems were going to go out of control. And billions of dollars in a global effort were invested in making sure that we were prepared December 31st, 1999 for the turnover of the century. Everyone wakes up the next morning, the planes did not fall out of the sky, the banking system held, the water systems kept flowing. There were problems here or there. It wasn't perfect, but everything got fixed in time. And so within a week, the first news articles come out that go, what was everyone freaking out about, right? You guys are also paranoid. There's not a Y2K, and Y2K in common thought right now, right, is a big to-do about, everyone freaked out, right? No, that's the preparedness paradox, is you can justify that billions of dollars going into a system that needed to pivot, needed to be reformed in anticipation of the boom. And that's the challenge you have. But also, finally, you're maintaining your core mission. And this is important. Most security professionals will tell you, oh, we have to, we call them the guns, gates, and guards guys, right? I mean, they're like, oh, we just need more security personnel and higher gates and whatever. It's much more complicated than that, because you have this third tier, right, which is flow, essentially. I mean, but whether it's airplanes, sewer systems, water systems, electrical systems, things have to move in this country. Right? And the more security you put on, in this globe, actually, the more security you put on them, the harder it is. Right? I mean, that's what we do, right? We slow things down. And what you are challenged with is thinking about, how do I get all these things aligned in my system to protect my system? I want you all to go back, whatever level you are, and think about those people who are protecting this thing. Are they going to impact me at this thing? And guess what? Everything's aligned. Right? And thinking about, I call it the architecture of security. Who's reporting to whom? Who has transparency over what? And have an understanding of what that system will look like when it goes down. Right? This is because you're going to assume the boom. That's the thing I ask of you. And so one exercise I want to leave you with in terms of learning to fail safer, and Paul and I had talked about, is looking at your budgets. Your what may arguably called your preparedness budget is probably integrated into everything you do, just given the world that you're in. But one thing that you can do is think about what kind of resources and focus you have distributed between left and right of boom. Right? So if you think about your cyber risk, if you're spending 80 cents for every dollar on left of boom, let me tell you, you're in trouble. Right? I mean, in other words, because you're not going to know what to do to minimize the impact of that, or your teams, or whatever it is. Remember, your runway is short. You want to be able to either extend it, right, which is possible in some instances, or be able to respond immediately. So it's those kinds of exercises that you can go back and think, don't even think of cyber, just think of your preparedness training, your response training, all the stuff that you have to think about because of your critical infrastructure impact. And whatever level you are, just think about, what's my distribution of 100 pennies? I don't know the right answer given the system you're in or given its vulnerabilities or whatever, but I know if you're looking at something like lots of wishful thinking and then cross our fingers and call the disaster management people on the other side, you need to rethink that. Because the standard of success will be not simply did you stop the bad thing from happening, but were things less bad because you were prepared for the boom. And that gives you agency and some control over a world in which there isn't much. So I'm going to end with the last story. The book title, The Devil Never Sleeps, is actually only part of a sentence that was said to me. You get these moments when you're in my space. I had worked the Joplin, Missouri response. Joplin is a small town in Missouri that lost over 100 people. Also in 2012, that when a tornado, those of you who know tornadoes, which are the worst, just sort of forms and drives down 19th Street, right, in Joplin. If you were on 20th or 18th, you kind of were fine. If you were on 19th, chances are you were dead. And I am, because of my weird career, and often invited back at anniversaries, right? And these are sort of celebratory, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 20 year. And these are sort of celebratory. And after 1 year, I'm invited back, and the recovery is being run by a woman named Jane Cage. She is terrific. She's quite devout. And our politics, our zeitgeist couldn't be more different, right? In terms of who she was and her and her work and everything. I mean, but she was infectious. And believed in her faith. That's a way many of us believe in our faith, believed in her faith that was like quite tactical, which I kind of like. Like, it wasn't like, oh, God did this to us and woe is me and Job. Like, it was like, yeah, God did this to us, and guess what? Like, we have human agency. And I said, how are you like this? How are you so committed to making Joplin ready for the next time, which was her job? And she went around and she admitted Joplin wasn't perfect before, and there were things that they wanted to do and rebuild and rethink. And she said, I'm from tornado country. The devil never sleeps, but he only wins if we don't do better next time. And that's, I think, a hopeful way to think about a world in which the booms keep coming. So hopefully this has illuminated a very not transparent world to you and how we think about things. And I'm happy to take any questions or start a dialogue. Thank you so much.